There once was a fish that swam happily in the sea and was as happy as happy as a fish swimming in the sea could be. And one day, as it swam close to the shore, it heard a voice coming from above. And the voice said, "A woman needs a husband like a fish needs a bicycle." The fish felt riveted by what it heard. A bicycle! A bicycle! A bicycle! It repeated the word like a charm in its head. To have something that I don't need. Now that would be something indeed. And so the fish swam around feeling less happy that can be, repeating a tune that can never be. I want to ride a bicycle. I want to ride a bicycle. I want to ride a bicycle. I want to be a fish on a bicycle. The fish sang to itself. And then one day, as if by magic, the less happy than happy can be fish took a wrong turn and got lost in the big sea. It twirled around and zigzagged in random formations until it arrived to a never encountered before reef. And as the sun rays came down, darkness unfurled the same way theater curtains open up on matinee night. And there it was, a shiny object with two wheels. The fish's heart skipped two beats, and wobbly wobbles went up and down its imaginary knees. God is indeed great, professed the fish, for it had yearned and asked and wished, but only an empowered creator could have answered so eloquently. At first, the fish approached the bicycle with great trepidation. It knew that a bicycle was meant for riding and not for laying on one side. It started by cleaning all the weed that had entwined itself across the wires and the frame of the bicycle. And then it placed a color ring on the wire of the front wheel because the fish knew had any other fish encountered this treasure, it would immediately lay its claim. The bicycle looked happier, but still not completely satisfied. And that's when the fish realized that its imaginary knees and knuckles better materialized. The fish swam to the odd object store where little fishes went to play pranks on their cousins and buy trappings for Halloween. Among all the soggy shelves, it found sand blasting guns and plastic fins, but it was in the back, in the dropped from heavens department, that it found what delighted its heart: human prosthetic limbs. The fish purchased without asking the price and swam home feeling most accomplished. The fish spent all her evening strapping on legs and arms and practicing wobbly motions to bring them alive. After many attempts, the fish felt confident. It decided to approach the new position in this new disposition. The bicycle seemed mightily impressed, but alas, all riding attempts ended up with the fish buried under a pile. The fish now became the most unhappy fish in the whole sea. It practiced and practiced and doubled its effort. It made all kinds of wobbly motions to create a precise choreography of torso movements that would yield mastery of her new limbs. The unhappy fish approached the bicycle with a new sense of determination. And lo and behold, a riding experience was in the cards. At first, the fish rode the bicycle gingerly around and around in a circle. And after a while, it moved straight ahead in a straight line. All the creatures of the sea took a moment to notice and looked upon with amazement. Even the octopus and the shark took a moment out of their busy schedules to notice what was happening. The turtle smiled for the first time in 50 years. The starfish took a vow of nonviolence. They all pointed a finger at the fish and said, "Look, a fish on a bicycle." For times they are changing, and the signs are as clear as can be. They sensed they have witnessed history. The fish puffed up its chest and rode around, feeling most victorious. So at this point, I'm going to interrupt the story to tell you that I am a big fan of using a frame story. It's a literary device where you have a story within a story. I love this literary device so much. I've used it in all my novels. And this story that I'm telling you is the inner story in the novel Graffiti Hack. So if you are curious how this story resonates in an outer context, read Graffiti Hack. And if you love stories, then I invite you to join my mailing list. Go to iHave.com/free-ebook to continue this conversation. But back to Under the Sea. The bicycle seemed pleased, but not all was well in the sea. A few logical fishes asked annoying logical questions. Why ride a bicycle when we can swim faster? Why defy nature when God gave us scales and fins? Pretending to be human is a dangerous adventure. The victorious fish answered them with clever retorts that silenced them. You dumb doubters, don't you see? This is progress. It is technology. Today I ride around gingerly, but tomorrow I will zip around like devil on ecstasy. You old fashioned fish, you don't matter. It is us, modern fish, that hold the future in our non existent fingers. And in this state of defiance, the fish knew that it had to perform. In order to ride with the necessary speed, it had to come up with a plan to level paths and roads so that the bicycle could move faster. And as the vigorous training to ride in this bicycle with fast speed was commencing, something astonishing happened. The bicycle spoke, and its first words under the sea were screeching, moaning sounds of whining. I do not like to forge ahead with this haste. I do not enjoy being ridden by a fish, and I do feel nauseated by the salty wetness of the sea. The fish was shocked. He was completely aghast. Why didn't you say something earlier? All this time I assumed you were deaf and mute. I didn't want to seem excessively fussy, replied the fish. In complete shock, the fish grabbed the bicycle and with all its might, it threw it out onto the shore. That bastard. I mean, that love child of a car and a unicycle. After everything I have done for him, after everything I have done for it, the bicycle was in shock. And as tears poured down the fish's cheeks, it took off the fake limbs. And to its surprise, it found that real limbs were beginning to grow out of its torso. The depressed fish realized it had forgotten how to swim. And so it just sat there by the shore and it sobbed and it sobbed and sobbed. And it said to itself, one day when I'm finished sobbing, I'll reteach myself how to swim using these new limbs. And who knows, maybe I will invent a new novel way of swimming for fish. And if that doesn't work, I heard they do miracles using plastic surgery these days. The fish was attempting to console itself, of course. And that is when the fish heard the voice coming from the sky. It was the same voice. And the voice said, I told you a woman needs a husband like a fish needs a bicycle. Next time, why don't you poke yourself in the eye instead and spare yourself the heartache? And so the fish started a poke in the eye business where young and foolish fishes could get, for a fee, a poke in the eye using the fish's new limbs. And so uh, all fishes would spare themselves a heartache. It was like vaccination or immunization against heartache. And the fish's business motto was, a fish needs a bicycle like a woman needs a husband. And the fish lived forever after bitterly.